Township of Lopatcong's Planning Board meeting of December 2022. At this time, I invite you to join us in a silent moment of prayer, followed immediately by the oath of office of the flag of our country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, I'm required to state that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided indicating the time and place of the meeting in accordance with Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975 by advertising a notice in the Star Ledger and the Express Times, and by posting a copy on the bulletin board in the municipal building. Beth, may I have a roll call, please?
Yes, members Kleiner, Boyle, DeLeo, Polito.
Here.
Sazanov.
Here.
Weeks.
Here.
Mayor Mangucci.
Here.
Vice Chairman Sampson.
Here.
Chairman Van Hook.
Here. Okay, moving directly to unfinished business. First part of the unfinished business is Bridge Development Partners LLC, Block 99, Lot 6, Strikers Road Warehouse Complex, final hearing. Approval of the resolution of that final hearing. Has everyone on the board received a copy of that resolution?
Yes.
Are there any questions on it? Any errors, or if not, I'll entertain a motion for approving the resolution.
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay. Roll call, Beth, please.
Yes, members Polito,
Yes.
Sazanov.
Yes.
Weeks.
Yes.
Mayor Mangucci.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Sampson.
Yes.
Chairman Van Hook.
Yes. Second order of unfinished business that we have this evening is Aventur Performance Materials LLC. This is a solar project on Block 5, Lot 4. This is the, again, the approval resolution from the hearing. Again, has the board received that copy of that resolution?
Yes. Yes.
Are there any questions? Comments on it?
Mr. Chairman, the only question I have on this one and our previous one, although I was going over the enforcement of such ordinances, is really part curiosity, but also within Frenchtown, I was hearing from a former planning board member, the enforcement of such conditions of approval, such as trees and other things that the planning board deems appropriate or part of an ordinance, where exactly, and I saw it within this municipal land use law for 2022, the enforcement of such ordinances or regulations made by this planning board. So the question is, who is our administrative officer who shall within these approvals, who is that person?
I believe it's the zoning officer, isn't it?
Well, there's various people, who watch over the, say, the build out of whatever is approved in the town. And it could be the planner, the engineer is most very much involved. Construction, when it goes down to the construction office, they review the plans, they're out there doing the inspections, and so there's various people.
Okay. Yeah, it seems like that's it.
The board is not an enforcement board.
Exactly,
So
yeah.
that's the problem. And mostly the building inspectors, those responsible for the different aspects, the engineer for probably the site layout and drainage and all of the things that we discuss here are memorialized in the resolution.
Okay.
And
And
they
when,
have to go back to the township to get the proper building approvals, permits, and stuff like that, so.
Perfect, okay.
Okay.
Great, yeah, I'm satisfied with that. I appreciate the information. Thanks.
No problem. Any further questions? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the Avantar Performance Materials LLC.
Make a motion.
I'll second it.
Roll call left, please.
Yes. Members Polito,
Yes.
Sazano,
Yes.
Weeks,
Yes.
Mayor Mengucci.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Sampson,
Yes.
Chairman Jenkins.
Yes. Okay, that completes our business for the evening. And at this point, I'll open it to the public for any comments they may have. We ask that you approach the podium, give your name and address, and yes, ma'am.
Judy Liptak, 47 Kyle Drive. The last planning board meeting, I sat and observed a member of the planning board step down to speak as a public audience member regarding the solar field being built by his house. At that time, no statements were being given, but questions to professionals giving testimony. The planning board member not only did not have to give their name and address like other members of the audience, but was also permitted to make statements, not ask questions, and was permitted to speak from their seat and not approach the podium like everyone else. I bring this up because this is an example of the continued mismanagement of town meetings in Lopatcong. Rules of decorum are not applied to all citizens. Time restrictions not applied to all, along with the rules and other rules and practices. It seems there's some type of bias happening. I personally have been redirected by this board for forgetting to state my name, for not presenting a question and needing to rephrase, for not approaching the podium and begin speaking from my seat, and for running out of my 5 minutes. This biased discretion to apply rules and procedures to some citizens, but not all, in my opinion, is borderline discriminatory and needs to be corrected. Additionally, I would like to point out that at the last meeting, Bridge was present to get some approval for the building of the next warehouse on Strikers Road, number 2. It is my understanding, and please clarify if I'm incorrect, the last minutes posted were September 28th, so I had no reference to go back to. I've also stated before that I have a lot of difficulty hearing during these meetings. The microphone system is faulty. Not all members speak into the microphone given. Not everyone speaking at the meeting, including professionals giving testimony, have microphones to speak in. So information is missed and inaudible at times, which is even stated in some of the transcripts that I've read. I've tried to tell this board I have a hearing issue and was shut down quickly. I reached out to Beth to inform her. To date, I've not noticed much of a change with the exception of our town engineer, who has been leaning into his microphone to speak. This has helped tremendously. At the last meeting, Bridge was given some approval, but from what I heard, they did not have a letter for sewer. It was almost like a "it's in the mail" kind of statement that they gave. Perhaps this was a loose end. Then there was another "it's in the mail" response, something from the DEP. What I'm asking here is it a common practice that approvals that are not fully clarified and handed in with all its I's dotted and T's crossed accepted by this board? I would think everything needs to be tidied up, all proper paperwork signed, sealed, and delivered before an approval is given. Is this a common practice of this board, or is this yet another example of inconsistent enforcement? We've been told many times from this board they are not responsible for enforcement, and a lot of the questions are pushed off to council. But this board isn't fooling anyone. You are all responsible. It is important this board hears the consequences of all of their decisions. There are 2 council members sitting on this board, and despite you wanting us to believe there's not communication between the board and the council, there is. And in my opinion, your professionals share information and you share information. And if others on this board don't realize that this is happening, they need to get their heads out of the sand and realize it's a common thread that is pulling all of your strings. Perhaps some of you are on a need-to-know basis like the rest of us. If that's the case, you need to speak up. The overdevelopment of warehouses and the carnage they have brought to this area is on all of you. Each one of you, each board member, each council member. You can sit here and keep pretending it's not on you, but it is. The traffic nightmare that these trucks bring to our local roads, the overnight parking on empty lots, the garbage, safety issues, the accidents, the desecration of farmland, and negative impacts on the environment are all on you. The lower property values, increased impervious coverage, the asphalt mecca of Warren County, all on you. You all have personally turned this area into the Newark of the West, so give yourself a hand. Luckily, you can still put a halt to the continued desecration and not approve any further warehouses on the mall and the beautiful farmland behind it. Stand up with the citizens of this town and say no more. If you continue to allow this to happen, I honestly do not know how you all look at yourselves in the mirror every day and are proud of the work you're doing here, because there is nothing to be proud of. Questions. Trucks turning out of the Bridge warehouse. What direction are they permitted to turn? Are they going toward 57, 519, or both? Has there been contact with the railroad and county to fix that intersection at 57 and Strikers? It is an extreme turning hazard. And to have trucks turning right, they can't make a wide enough turn without putting other cars in harm's way. Who is protecting the citizens of Lopatcong? Honestly, if this board or council does not have our safety in the forefront and ensuring everything is being done to protect its citizens when making decisions like you do, you should be stepping down, because this should be your #1 job. Want to answer the question about what direction they're turning?
Where?
The trucks
Where are they turning?
onto Strikers. Are they going toward 57 or 519 or both?
As far as I can recollect, which road? You're talking about the current warehouse on the,
No, I'm talking about the Bridge warehouse you just approved. Yeah, the Bridge warehouse you just approved.
the Bridge warehouse?
When they come out of the Bridge warehouse, which way are they going?
They have two, as the warehouse across the street has one entrance and one exit. The exit is to go to 519, exit to go out to the 22. The upper driveway, if I remember, can go both directions.
So then it goes to my second question. Has this board worked diligently to try and get that intersection corrected? Because the 57 and Stryker Road, where the railroad track is a desperate need. It is a hazard. I was almost killed there. It's horrible.
You're talking about 57 and Strikers Road.
When you turn and you make a right.
Strictly in the auspices of the New Jersey Department of Transportation. We have no jurisdiction over it whatsoever.
Gotcha. So what is this board doing to try to ensure that the Department of Transportation does something? Call them,
We can
write
write-
letters to them?
We've written letters, and the answer comes back that we have no input on how that's to be designed.
You have no input, or the DOT has no input?
We have no input. The DOT is responsible for reviewing the design submitted to them by the applicant.
So the last time I brought up a question about the DOT and got a similar answer, which I deem as an excuse, I reached out to them. I had no problem getting responses from them, and they came out and they sent a whole report. Have we done that? Because I would love to see a report on the safety of that
What was the
turn.
result of the report?
It was the bridge, and they showed me the inspections that they were doing for the bridge. Not the 57 one. I'm telling you, the last time I made a call to the DOT was about the bridge over 22. You remember that? That was a while ago when I started coming to meetings, about a year ago.
Yes, well, when we had the Ingersoll Rand property being looked at.
My point
that's
being-
One of the thing is that we went to the DOT to try,
Time
we
is
went
up.
to the,
My point is, we can be doing more to ensure the safety of our citizens, and I hope that this board and council does that.
Do you realize the regulations that we are working under?
I do. That's the example I just used of me working with the DOT and
And-
getting answers.
As a public person, you can go in there,
I guess I'll have to
And you
figure
do.
out and do that. You know what?
that's not our job.
Yeah, ensuring our safety is your job.
Oh. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
John Ketcherson, 38 Jade Lane. I just have a couple of questions regarding the bridge warehouse. I apologize, I must have missed one of the meetings where this was discussed. Does the Bridgewater have the verified sewer capacity? Did they get that sewer capacity?
Bridgewater?
I'm
Or
sorry.
bridge?
The bridge warehouse, I'm sorry.
They have certified to us that the capacity is available. They don't have to have it. It was made part of a conditional approval to go with that. They supposedly won't be able to build until they get that done. So it could be 10 years before they get the,
So we're not sure if they have that, because according to our ordinance 2020-09, it requires sewer capacity verification to be completed at the time of application. So I was just wondering if they actually had that or
don't
not.
confuse preliminary or completion.
Well, that's-
Preliminary approval, and a lot of this stuff that came down is as a conditional approval.
So
But
are
they
they,
must obtain that and prove to us that they have it before they can start construction. They don't have to come back to this board unless there's a major change in
that's not what the ordinance says, but, so right now they only have conditional approval or final approval?
Well, conditional approval means that they have to have it or can prove that they will get it.
Okay.
in
Before
order
they
to
stick a shovel in the
pursue.
ground?
I mean,
Okay. How, and again, I apologize, I missed the meeting where stuff like this was discussed. How many trucks is this going to add to Strikers Road, the bridge warehouse?
I'd have to go back and look at the traffic report. I can't remember offhand.
Any rough guess?
It's a very difficult question because it comes down to what's going to be in that warehouse.
Right, we don't really know for sure right now.
We don't
But they have
know.
to have, like, if you look at the redevelopment plan for the mall, that has a traffic study, and, you know, they represented that, you know, it's gonna reduce traffic and stuff like that, so they didn't do a traffic study, or?
We have a complete traffic study for every warehouse that we
Okay. So that doesn't contain that information, or?
it makes assumptions.
Sure it does, yeah, yeah. So,
I can't guarantee for you that it'll be
Right.
50 an hour or 3 an hour.
but what was the assumption? I'm just curious, you know, how many?
It's done by traffic.
So is this traffic study available to the public? Can I go and look at those?
Yes?
Yes? Okay. Do I need to Oprah that, Beth, or?
Well, just let me know when you're, before you're coming, so
Okay.
I can dig it out.
All right. I'll probably stop by tomorrow sometime. So we've seen an awful lot of trucks parked on the side of the roads, parked in private lots, rats, before they shut down the closed off the SMP. The trucks from Allen Ritchie were staging in there. Will this warehouse have a staging area, or are they going to be using our roads? And, you know, now they're staging in Walmart and stuff like that. Or will they have a staging area, or are they going to be using private property for that? Our roads.
They have adequate parking or whatever they're doing, according to these traffic studies and the assumptions that they make coming in and provide to us.
They can't park on Strikers Road there. There's that's applicable.
It doesn't stop one, believe me.
But it's not
Chris,
at our level at that point, it's at the.
Right, but, you know, I mean, we dump
That's
all
something
these
we can't
trucks into our town, we're gonna get that, right? So I've seen an awful lot of trucks also on roads that they shouldn't be on, including Strikers. I'm assuming they're not supposed to be on Strikers Road north of 57, because it kind of dead ends up by the Warren County Fairgrounds there. But I've seen multiple trucks up there.
That has a weight restriction on it.
Another.
However,
Mhm.
even with a weight restriction, they are allowed to make local deliveries.
These were 18-wheelers. I don't think they were making local deliveries. I mean, yeah, okay, so I've never seen, in the years that I've lived here, I've never seen an 18-wheeler on there. Now I've seen like 3 or 4 of them. I've seen multiple ones going up to the train tunnel and turning around. So with this in mind,
Which train terminal?
well, I call it a train tunnel, where the train passes over top of 519. You know, if you go by,
And it's well signed that
over-
the trucks over a certain height, you can't go that way.
right, there's like 7 of them, and
They have to turn around and go
Yeah.
up into Overlook and go back down, and on Overlook.
They've been doing that for so many years. I mean,
yeah, no, you know,
it's
so,
not new, it's just maybe a couple more, but it's been
It's-
happening for,
it's-
I mean, I was on the squad.
so again,
And I was going to these calls left
Yeah.
and right. So
So-
it had nothing to do with.
so again, I've been here since
Truckers not knowing what they're doing.
I've been here since 2008, which isn't as long as everybody else here probably. But before this year, before, you know, the Allen Ritchie warehouse and all these warehouses that are popping up all over the place, I've seen 0 of them doing that. Now I see it like all the time, sometimes multiple times a week. So with that in mind, with these trucks all over the roads they're not supposed to be on, what is Lopatcong going to do to protect their citizens from this happening? Since we're approving these warehouses and saying, come on in, what are we doing to protect us, to protect our citizens? Can I pass these questions along to somebody else to finish asking?
Sure. Yes, sir.
Robert Bruce, 11 Harwich Road. John had ended, and
I'll call you back in a minute.
I'd like to continue where we left off. I believe he wanted to know what the, see many trucks on the roads they should be on. Strikers north of 57 and 519 north of Strikers, turning around at the tunnel. What are you guys going to do to protect us from these additional trucks brought in by Bridge? Brian, you said it's not new. Trucks have always done that. Well, what's new is the warehouses that have exacerbated the number of trucks. So it is a new problem. What do you guys plan to do about this new problem is the question. And I don't think you got an answer. That's why I'm up here on that. What's your plan?
I don't have a plan.
You don't have a plan. Okay. I have a question now. Will the trucks exiting the Bridge warehouse be able to go either left towards 519 or right towards 57? That's been asked. So correct me if I'm wrong, but the trucks exiting the existing warehouse are prohibited from making a left towards 57. Mayor Mengucci, I believe you answered that at the last council meeting, that they're only allowed to make a right towards 519 exiting Ritchie. If the trucks exiting this new Bridge warehouse are required to make a left also towards 519, that by definition, that's going to be more dangerous than if the trucks exited right towards 57. If they go left, they're going to have to cross over the traffic lane going towards 57. They will be turning left and effectively disrupting both lanes of traffic on Strikers, right? If they make a left out of this new warehouse.
That's not just trucks, that's automobiles too.
Okay, automobiles too, but automobiles are not cars, sir. And trucks require a 55-foot turning radius, which a car does not require that. So my question is, as Judy had asked, are they allowed to go left or right out of this new Bridge warehouse? That seems a very important question.
Oh, yes, they are.
They are allowed to go left or right, even though Ritchie can only go
Depends
left.
on what driveway they're using. They have multiple driveways.
Okay. The Ritchie warehouse has one lane of entrance for trucks and one lane of exit for trucks.
Could you please clarify what is the Ritchie
The
warehouse?
mail house, the mail warehouse, the existing warehouse.
Thank you.
Okay. they were only allowed, according to the mayor, to make a right-hand turn towards 519 when they exit.
Yes.
I'm asking you, when they exit this new bridge warehouse, are they allowed to go left or right? Will there be one entrance and one exit like the current warehouse?
Right now, I'm going to have to say, if for that detail, I'd have to go back and look at the plans and the traffic studies.
Okay, if George shows up tomorrow, Beth, would you be able to get that information for him?
I'm gonna need some time, because I have to go down the basement and dig it out. So
Okay, thank
I
you.
have things to do tomorrow, but if you
That-
give me a day,
I'm not putting a time limit, I knew he was gonna be here. Is this new bridge warehouse being built without plans in place right now for redoing traffic control at the intersection of Strikers and 519?
It's out of their jurisdiction.
Is you approving this without existing plans right now to do that? It's out of your jurisdiction, so I take that to mean, yes, you're approving it without that.
Well, to begin with, that intersection is not in Lopatcong Township.
Okay, it doesn't matter, the warehouse is off.
The county has accepted that responsibility to
Okay.
put the traffic light there, but they have taken no action on it.
Okay, so until that's done, that already dangerous section is gonna get worse. Back to the intersection of Strikers with 57, where Judy was nearly killed when a tractor trailer turning right started backing up towards her. That's an intersection that's inherently dangerous right now. The truck couldn't make the turn because the car traffic traveling westbound has a left-hand turn lane for vehicles right there. With that average turning radius, the guy had to back up. That's a bonehead move for a trucker, we all acknowledge that. But it's a bonehead move that could harm our residents. And so, as Judy said, and I'll finish up, as Judy said, the onus should not be on residents to contact the necessary county, state, administrative Department of Transportation. The onus should be on the people that we elected to handle that for us. So I'd like to get an answer to that,
I'd like
but
to point out that I'm not elected.
thank you for your time, thank you for answering some questions, thank you.
Anyone else?
Beverly Myers, 1200 Fairview Circle, Stewartsville. Well, it seems that you tentatively answered the first question about the sewerage from Bridge Warehouse, that we don't have a solution yet if it's going to need to be updated. Is it,
When you talk about update, what are you
Well-
referring to?
the way it is now, can it handle the capacity of a new warehouse?
Yes, I would think so. I'd have to.
I mean, because we
The
don't,
problem with the capacity is contractual. Physically handling the wastewater is probably no problem.
all right,
However, Lopatcong contracts with Phillipsburg in order to get a certain amount of gallonage for the entire town. They have exceeded that point. Physically, it's possible. Legally, it's not.
because we're also looking down the road for NFI to have a massive warehouse there. Is it going to be able to handle that capacity too?
NFI has been turned down.
For now. For now,
Yeah.
NFI has been turned down. All right, with the existing warehouses that are on Strikers Road now, have any of you been down Strikers Road? I know you probably have, Ryan.
Travel cars, Strikers Road every day.
All right, what about the condition of the road? It's numerous potholes, patchwork. I went down it today, and what's going to be done about it? Who's paying for that? The warehouse sits there from the tax dollars that we supposedly get, or what? Why is it in such poor condition?
The roadway belongs to Lopatcong Township. Lopatcong Township's responsible for it.
Isn't that us?
That's us.
Okay, well, when is something going to be done about it? It's been that way for months.
Again, it's not the planning board's jurisdiction.
Okay. All right. This has been brought to your attention months ago about the porta potties that were at that new warehouse that was built. You knew nothing about it. You weren't aware of it, and then you looked into it. And then at the next meeting, somebody stated that they would be out of there by July. I guess you didn't say which July, because they're still there. Now, I see that across the street where the bridge warehouse is going to be, there's a porta potty there. Why? Why hasn't this been taken care of? I mean, you told us it was going to be done.
The original one with the complaint was filed, which were removed, weren't they?
No, they're still there. I went down today. They're there. We just want honest answers, and we want to know that you're representing us to the fullest of your capacity and will fight for us. That's all we want. And sometimes we walk away from here and we don't have that feeling. I'm sorry.
I know I get complaints that porta potties in the park, left and right. So, porta potties are porta potties.
Well, we have them there for us, so.
I know that much.
Yeah, I mean, for the record, I believe the one visible heading north, ma'am, if you're heading north on Strikers, the one that was visible, I believe, was taken down. Is there another one that you see on the current mail facility?
They're right there, at the
They-
front door.
They put two,
They moved it from one side of the door to the other side of the door.
when you say other side, where is it now that you've seen
It
it?
used to be short of.
On the south end headed towards 519,
You're going north towards 57.
right?
There's an entrance right there. To the right of the roadway that gets you in. To the left of that door, they used to have two porta potties.
Right, that's what the one I was speaking of, but
That
they,
was removed.
right.
Now they're back. Two porta potties to the right of that door now, not the left of the door.
So on Stryker's side,
On Stryker's side.
okay, thanks for
Okay,
pointing that
I'll
out.
have the engineer, I'll contact them tomorrow and put them on notice about it.
Okay. You brought
All
it
right,
up.
but let's just continue with what Judy wants. Let's come to the podium and have the proper decorum.
I already spoke.
No, I'm just saying, the rest of you.
Oh,
Right, I was just trying to complete the comment from the woman, because I was,
They moved them in front of the handicap spot now.
Again, raise your hand and approach the podium.
right, thank you.
Please.
Thank you, Beth.
Absolutely.
Margaret Taylor, 1016 Deerhaven Terrace in Overlook. I have traveled Strikers Road. I have a question. What are all the pipes? They look like sewer pipes that are laying on the side of the road. Does anyone know what they're for?
That's a new water line being taken care of by Aqua.
Oh, okay, that answers my question. Thank you.
Do you have a question there? I take your silence as being no, so. Anyone else? We'll close the public portion then. Take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Yes. Any negatives? Any abstentions? Okay, we are done.
Thank you.
Thank you.